The story begins in a restaurant in Las Vegas where Nick is drinking. He is a former top fighter with an impressive city record and military experience, but his life is not going well at the moment. Nick gambles heavily and rarely travels outside Las Vegas. Financially struggling, he spends his days in despair. Because of this, Nick takes on small jobs to get by. However, his jobs are not ordinary. He earns money by being someone's bodyguard, intimidating people, or carrying out assaults. This is how his life continues. At the restaurant, a girl named Dee Dee comes in and orders a drink. Nick keeps staring at her, feeling uncomfortable. Dee Dee moves to another table, but Nick continues trying to talk to her. Then Dee Dee's boyfriend Asgood arrives in an expensive car. He wants to show off his wealth and proposes to Dee Dee. Dee Dee gets angry and starts fighting with Asgood. Nick steps in and gets into a scuffle with Asgood. Dee Dee stops them and takes them outside. Outside, Asgood throws Nick to the ground. Seeing this, Dee Dee is happy and says she is willing to marry him. At the same time, a car is seen on the street leaving a girl behind. The girl, Holly, arrives at the hospital injured. She explains that she doesn't know the people who attacked her. Later, Nick goes to a cafe called Silver Spoon, which he uses like his office. Here, he handles all his work deals. At one point, a gambler named Cyrus asks Nick to be his bodyguard. Cyrus says that some people are trying to catch him, and he is scared. Nick agrees to take the job. In the next scene, Nick goes back to a bar. There, he sees Oscar, the man who had previously beaten him. Oscar thanks Nick. It is revealed that this was all part of a plan with Asgood. Asgood says that his girlfriend has agreed to marry him. Nick takes exactly $500 as his fee. No more, which pleases Oscar even more. Later, Nick returns to the restaurant and meets his friend. The friend tells Nick that he will meet a girl named Mahol. Nick says he already knows Mahol. Then Nick goes to Holly. Holly tells him her story of suffering. She explains that while going to the hotel elevator, 3 men 2 tall and 1 short attacked her. They locked her in a room and treated her badly. Later, the men's bodyguards also hurt her in the same way. In the end, Holly was left on the street. Holly wants Nick to find out the names of the men who attacked her. Nick promises that he will do it. Instead of going to the police, Holly seeks Nick's help first. Holly tells Nick which hotel she had been at, the Golden Nugget Hotel. Upon hearing the name, Nick starts his work and soon arrives at the hotel. There, he talks to a woman he already knows. Nick explains the whole situation. The woman tells Nick to meet her at a cafe in the afternoon and promises to help him gather information from the hotel. At the cafe, the woman informs Nick that the attacker's name is Danny DeMarco. He is extremely dangerous and has 2 bodyguards. They are very powerful, and anyone who crosses them faces serious trouble in Las Vegas. Hearing this, Nick calls Holly and tells her he has identified the attacker. But Holly wants more. She wants Nick to catch Danny and his 2 bodyguards and punish them. Hearing this, Nick shows his anger. Holly explains that Danny had threatened her. He told her that if she wanted to save her life, she had to say she loved him. Out of fear, Holly said she loved him. Danny pulled the trigger, but the gun wasn't loaded. Still, the shock caused Holly intense pain, more excruciating than death. Because of this experience, Holly wants Nick to catch Danny and his associates and punish them. After talking to Nick, she hangs up and leaves. In a casino, Cyrus is seen gambling. Nick is sitting and drinking, but his thoughts are on Holly. Nick tells Cyrus that no one in the casino can harm him, so he doesn't need a guard. Nick then goes straight to Holly. He asks if she went to the police. Holly says they want to be able to do anything, and she plans to handle the 3 attackers alone. Nick tells her that if she gives him the address, he will go there. In the next scene, Nick returns to the Golden Nugget Hotel and knocks on a door. A bodyguard opens it and asks who he is. Nick says he is looking for a broker girl. The bodyguard lets Nick inside. Inside, Nick meets Danny. Nick questions Danny about the girl's whereabouts. Danny asks if the girl is beautiful. Nick says yes, she is beautiful, but Danny had treated her very badly before. From Nick's words, Danny realizes who he is talking about. Frightened, Danny offers Nick $50,000 and wants the matter to remain secret. Nick refuses the offer. Angry, Danny pulls out a gun and tells Nick he will survive only if he flatters him. Nick pretends to comply at first, but quickly makes a plan. In one swift move, Nick knocks out Danny and his 2 bodyguards. He ties up all 3 with ropes and calls Holly, telling her to come to the given address. Holly arrives and begins taking revenge on Danny. She pulls out a pair of scissors from her bag. Terrified, Danny is forced to hand over his money to Nick. Holly makes it clear that she is doing this not for the money, but for revenge. Holly forces Danny into a game using the scissors to scare him. Danny starts screaming. Eventually, Nick and Holly leave Las Vegas so that Danny cannot follow them. Holly and Nick win $50,000. They decide to split the money. Nick takes $25,000, and Holly keeps the other $25,000. Nick uses his portion to gamble in a casino. Within minutes, the $25,000 grows to $500,000. Then Cyrus arrives. Even while talking to him, Nick continues gambling. In the end, he turns $25,000 into $500,000. He thinks that with this money, he could live comfortably for 5 years. However, driven by greed, Nick bets all the money again. This time, luck does not favor him. He loses everything, including what he had won before. Frustrated, Nick starts drinking and eventually passes out. When he wakes up, he finds Cyrus standing beside him. Cyrus gives him juice and explains that he came to Las Vegas solely for Nick. If he had revealed everything up front, Nick would not have agreed. His plan was to make Nick his bodyguard and to teach him lessons. One day, Nick sees a man on the street whose shirt says, "Please don't hit me." Nick laughs, but then reflects he wants to be both brave and cautious. Nick tells Cyrus that he had lied before, claiming a friend recommended him, but he actually knew Cyrus already. Nick now wants Cyrus to teach him how to become stronger. Cyrus reveals that at just 19, he earned $1.7 million and now has 5 times that amount. He also shares the secret to his success in old software update. Despite this, Nick initially refuses to help Cyrus and starts drinking again. At that moment, Danny's men arrive to capture him. Nick fights them off and knocks him out. Then 2 men arrive. They belong to Baby. Baby is the boss of Las Vegas, and no one dares to challenge him. Nick takes these 2 men to meet Baby. Baby fully supports Nick, saying that only Nick's name matters in Las Vegas. Baby takes Nick to Danny. Danny tells Baby that Nick broke into his room, stole $50,000, and shot his 2 bodyguards before escaping. He claims Nick left his fingerprints in the room and also took the gun. Baby questions Nick to get the full truth. Nick explains that he did not kill the bodyguards. Danny himself killed his own men. Danny had been crying like a child in front of his bodyguards and wanted to make sure this incident stayed secret. Baby asks why Danny was crying. Nick explains that a girl had threatened him with scissors. Danny denies the incident. Nick tells Danny that if he doesn't believe him, he can check. He will see clear marks from the scissors. Danny screams and leaves. Baby realizes that Nick did nothing wrong. Then Nick goes to the Silver Spoon Cafe, where Cyrus is waiting. Cyrus says he has learned a lot from Nick and is no longer afraid of anyone. He gives Nick a check for $500,000, but Nick initially refuses to accept it. Danny and his men come to attack Nick. To distract them, Cyrus starts playing music, allowing Nick to escape. In the end, Danny drives away. Finally, Cyrus gives Nick the $500,000 and a flight ticket. Nick accepts them and drives away. This is how the story ends.